Yo, yo, yo! What's going on, people? I hope everyone had an amazing trading day today. Um, I hope you guys all made some money in these markets. It was kind of a choppy day in the end. Um, to be honest with you guys, I did end up just finish trading about half an hour into the market open, about 7 a.m. Pacific time. I did screen record the three trades that I did. I was 3-0 for the day, and I'll go over those trades at the end of this video, so stick around for that. But for now, I'm gonna do the same style video as I did the previous two videos. So I'm just gonna go over bar by bar from the market open and kind of explain my thought process from the time I sit down at my computer to the time when I'm trading and just like everything that's going on and how the strategy works. So let's get into it. So today I got up and I checked the markets around like 6:15, and basically this is all that I saw. So obviously there's one of two things. There's one kind of short-term downtrend that can either be like that or something like that. I did have the trend channel like this. But once again, the most important thing that I found with trading is how much it really is just like a language. And every single bar that is printed on the screen means something. And the reason that price action is so powerful is because every other method out there is just an interpretation of price. But if you're trading on price action, you're literally just trading on the information that is present and live, and there's no lagging indicators or anything like that. We do use the EMA just to give us a little bit of extra context to what side of the market we're on when we're in a downtrend or uptrend, and it allows for high probability setups to really present themselves, especially when they bounce off the EMA. But it doesn't get much simpler than this and clear cut than this. I mean, look at the chart. It's just clear, concise, no clutter. And I think that's really just the premier trading method. Okay, so right now there's this downtrend, but also it's very choppy. So when you come in, I'm just at this point I'm really just waiting till the market open because look at the EMA. It's just up and down, up and down. We are kind of looking for a new low of this downtrend because there was a break, but no new low in place. And whenever we have a trend line or trend channel, it's not until there's a break and a test of a new low when we really want to look for uh, trades in the opposite direction. So, okay, this is market open right here. You can see that it's very choppy and you really just want to stay out of this. So it's not until right here where we can kind of see that we're in sort of a trading range. And as soon as I saw this choppiness, I like to always adjust my trend line just to what seems the most accurate. Like at the end of the day, this is all common sense too. Like what seems more likely that the trend line is this thin trend line or trend channel with look how nicely it fits. It fits like 10 red bars perfectly with a break and a new low and then an attempt at reversal. Or does it seem more likely that it's this wide trend that like only bounces once on the bottom side and like one, two, three times here, but really not because at the bottom it just like shoots right out and there's no new low before getting into this congestion. So as soon as I see that there's a trading range starting to be formed, I want to just make the language of the markets speak what's the most accurate. So this makes the most sense to me. There's a short-term downtrend, a break, a new low, and the market is just kind of trying to find a position and a clear direction. So, right, like I said in the last video, in trading ranges, we always want to fade the breakouts. So we want to wait for high probability setups at the top of the trading range or the bottom of the trading range. And at the top, we want to sell, and at the bottom, we want to buy when there's a breakout. And there is an opportunity coming up. It was my first trade of the day, and I'll show you guys. So, like I mentioned, you always want to draw trend lines no matter how short they are, how short term. So here, there's a little uptrend, a break, and a new high. So when I saw this, this does seem like a pretty valid trading range because if you look in the center of it, like it's bouncing off the midline several times, and also there's a lot of resistance up here. But this red bar isn't isn't a very bearish bar, even though it has a little bit of red. So what that means is that it closed just one tick below its open. It wasn't bearish enough for me, but once we see this lower high setup and an attempt to go long, I actually did take this short, and it turned out to be a great trade. So let me explain it. So also, if we count from this low right here, because we always reset the count once there's like a double bottom. So this bar was the same low as this, so we can reset the count. So when we're going up, this is technically a first entry short, and then we went up again, and this is a second entry short after this bar because the next bar triggered below it. Now, like I said, the signal bar wasn't very bearish, so I skipped that trade. But when this lower high presented itself, look, the bar traded up. All of the traders went long, got trapped because the bar finished on its low, and I took that short. So I sold one tick below this bar, and I put my stop loss one tick above that bar. And like I said, I did screen record all of my trades today, so stick around to the end of the video and we'll go over those as well. So this ended up being a very nice trade, and I did exit my runner about here. It was about a 13-point runner, I want to say, 13.5 points, which is very, very nice to see. But once again, let's draw our trend lines. So break, new low of the trend line. Now we're also at the bottom of the trading range, or the potential trading range. So we want to look for potential longs. However, because actually, yeah, just we'll move on. Okay. This is what I was gonna say though. Because we traded below the trading range, it does kind of feel like there's a little bit of a bearish divergence, and it doesn't necessarily mean that we have to trade back up into trading range just because we're at the bottom. So once I see this, I really am concerned going long at any point, and I really just want to trap people who are going long too early. So it is getting kind of choppy, and as we can see, the downtrend is kind of getting weaker, but I did take another short somewhere around here. So once we attempted to kind of reverse out of this short-term downtrend right here with this, if you count from this low, there's a first entry short and a second entry short. Now, you don't want to take this second entry short because, first of all, we're at the bottom of the trading range. And second of all, look at this congestion right here. You would be going low at the you were going short at the very low of the day. And this bar is very high risk. And it actually wouldn't have even triggered because the next bar didn't trigger below it. However, this is a second entry short failure. So remember, here's the new low. First entry short because this bar broke below that. Second entry short right here because it broke below this. Now it's a second entry short failure. So people went long at the very low of the range, which it seems intuitive, right? However, look at the next bar. This bar trapped all the traders who not only went short, this is the double trap that we love to see. Because the people who took the short right here, they got stopped out with this green bar. So they're kind of frustrated and wanna, and in their mind they're thinking, fuck, like why did my trade not work? And now all the people who went long trying to trap them, they're gonna get trapped too because the next bar is so bearish that if the next bar breaks below this, that's gonna trap all of them. And that was a very nice trade. So now, if we keep going, we can see that if we count from this high, there's a first entry long, second entry long. If the next bar triggers below this one, that would be a second entry long failure. And see how, even though that there was a break and new low of this thin trend line or trend channel, what looks more valid to me at this point is something closer to that. It fits this nicely. It has another bounce, and another bounce. And this was actually my final trade of the day. So remember, here's the new high. First entry long, second entry long, failure should the next bar trigger below that. So actually, I went short below this bar, and the trade worked out. And after that, I was 3-0 for the day, and I was happy, so I stopped trading. But let's see what ended up happening the rest of the day. So this is honestly going to be good practice for me. I didn't really look at the markets after this, but if I did, I'm gonna kind of like put myself in the shoes should I have kept trading. I know it did kind of get choppy, but I didn't really look at many setups. So let's see. Okay. So here's the new low. Once we see this bullish momentum, draw the trend line. First entry short. Because this green bar broke above that, and the next bar broke below this one, that's technically a second entry short. Remember, new low, first entry short, second entry short. If the next bar breaks above this doji one that finished on its high, that would be a second entry short failure, which would be a great trade because we're also looking for a new high this short-term uptrend, and that trade would have worked out. Okay, this is a very interesting trade right here as well. Here's a new high. First entry long, second entry long, failure if the next bar breaks below this. However, this is a very risky trade because even though I had this drawn like so, what is more accurate is something that really looks like this. Because look, there's only one bounce here, and once we go below that, and there's one touch, two touch, three touch, four touch, whatever the most accurate, we want to draw the range that way. So if we were going short below this bar, we would have had very little space to the low of the day. And it's also an engulfing bar following a doji bar. So there's added risk because of that as well, and you would have got trapped. Now, first entry long, second entry long, failure, trap. If you went short after that bar, I guess it didn't even trigger, but that could have been a nice trade as well. Okay, let's try to get through some of this choppiness. Okay. Remember, at the bottom of the trading ranges, we want to look for long setups. New low right here. First entry short, second entry short, failure. You can go long above that bar as well. And it would have been a nice trade. Okay. Now we can look for another long setup. New high, first entry long, second entry long. You can go long above this bar all the way to the right, but I really don't like that because even though it's a second entry long, there's no real trend right now, and these bars like just look like a little mini trading range within the trading range. And you can kind of tell, once again, it's common sense. This does not look like a strong trend compared to something like this on the right side. So always be adjusting and talking to yourself in your mind, like what is going on right now? What kind of structure am I seeing? And yeah, look, it's still kind of just playing off this. However, okay, this does look like a nice long setup out of the trading range because, okay, there's the new high, first entry long, second entry long, but like I said, the bar is kind of in the middle of the EMA. But once there's this lower high touching the EMA and it closed in the upper third of the bar to as opposed to this bar right here, this bar closed much more near its high. So let's see if that trade would work out. Actually, we would have got trapped. So I think the reason that trade didn't work out is because I kind of didn't even listen to myself right there. Look at all of this resistance. Yeah, you would have been going long right into these highs. And yeah, the rest of the day looks very choppy. So it is, I mean, it was a very difficult day to trade today. If you're trading all the way towards the close of the market, luckily I did get out early. But yeah, you can kind of see this range came into play all the way until now. Like the market's still open. We have about 20 minutes to the close, but I guess it was just trading range structure for the majority of the day. And really in the bottom of the trading range for a lot of it. So let's see if we can find any more setups. That looks like a nice one right there. Short-term uptrend, new high, first entry long, second entry long, gorgeous bullish bar. That trade would have made up for it if you would have went long right here. I don't even know why I said to go long right here. Looking back, that was a bad call. I mean, I literally ignored exactly what I said about there not even being a trend, and it's the exact opposite what you want to do at the time. I just wasn't looking at this little resistance up here. So really, this actually would have been a nice short to go short below that bar because you would have trapped all the people going along after that bar. And like I said, the reason double trap is so long because is so strong because even the people who are great traders and might like great traders are never 100% right. And they see this bar and they might have mental lapse and go long and then have losing trade and then see this bearish bar and then go short, which even adds more power to those people who stayed patient and saw this resistance. So okay, let's move on. Okay, that would have been a nice trade. Moving on, moving on. First entry short, second entry short, failure. This is a very nice bullish bar. That's kind of an aggressive entry because even though it's a very bullish bar, it is in the middle of the EMA, so a lot of the times it's really not going to work out. And it's also in the middle of this like bottom trading range. I don't even need this, but let's just call this the midline and down. We're just trading in the bottom half of this trading range. So it is risky unless you're trading at the top or the bottom of it. You really never want to go in the middle unless it's a perfect setup off of the EMA, kind of like this one. And yeah, very, very choppy, very choppy. And when you see this, it's okay to keep drawing little mini congestions because this looks like a nice setup right here. It didn't really look like a nice setup if you didn't have this drawn, but once you have this drawn, you can kind of see how many times it really bounced off of these highs and lows. And once you see this first entry short, second entry short, you can go short right there. Some more choppiness, some more choppiness, some more choppiness. This is a nice setup right here, but unfortunately there's no second entry short failure. Yeah, this kind of just went without us. But remember, draw the trend. So this was a break and an attempt at a new high. It doesn't always have to get to the high to the tick, but it reversed. That's a second entry short right here. First entry short, second entry short. But I wouldn't take that trade because it is far away from the EMA and it does look a little stacked up. Yeah, very choppy, very choppy. And yeah, I mean, that was pretty much today. Just a bunch of choppiness. I hope a lot of people didn't get trapped too badly. I did get kind of lucky just ending the day early, but I will go over the trades I did right now. So this is a screen recording of me earlier in the day. So this is about 6:34. Break new high of this short-term trend. Nice bearish bar at the top of this resistance. And as you can see, I did catch a very nice runner. This is at 2x speed, by the way. If we fast forward, I like to trail my runners once there's a new swing high and the next bar breaks below that. So a lot of times my runners do get stopped out because of that, but as you can see, okay, this green bar broke above that one and the next bar broke below that, so I'm going to put my stop loss one tick above that bar. And I did get stopped out. Let's move on to the next trade. I believe this was my double trap trade. So runner 13.25. RRP just means the total runner potential. I just like to track that and then the risk. And like I said, look what I did there. I had this skinnier trend channel, and because the market kept going down after the break in a new low, I adjusted that. And now what I'm looking at is a first entry long, second entry long failure. So I'm just getting prepared with my limit order. Should the next bar be bearish, this would be the signal bar, and if the next bar breaks below that, then that would be a second entry long failure. So the next bar, I believe, breaks below it, and oh, okay. Yeah, so this turns out to be an engulfing bar. So I actually went long after after the next bar broke below this one. So next bar breaks below, and I put my limit order. I kind of chased the trade because it was a very bearish bar, and I was in and out within an instant. But I did go at the very low of that bar, so I didn't chase it too much. I just used that as the signal bar instead of the previous bar. And my next trade should just come a couple of minutes later. I did skip this second entry short failure with this doji bar that closed on its high, just because it did look a little stacked up in real time. And let me explain this trade. So if you look at the low, this is a first entry short, second entry short, failure, trap. What time was that? Okay, this is about 7. So yeah, that's right here. Okay, so I didn't even mark that trade. So it is a kind of an advanced trade, but if we look at this low, first entry short, second entry short, failure, and then a lower high. But also you can, what I did was I really didn't count this as a second entry short failure. I just counted from here, and I counted this whole swing as one entry short. So first entry short, because this looked like one leg to me, and then this looked like another leg. So first entry short, second entry short, failure for the people who went long too early, trap with this bearish bar. Have a nice day. And then there's even another lower high right there. Okay, and there we go. I hope you guys enjoyed watching the video. Leave me some comments. Yeah, give me some feedback, and I'd love a few more subscribers. Obviously, turn on some post notifications. So I'm gonna try to post pretty much every single day. Peace out.